Thanks for joining me, everyone. We're going to have a little chat here today around about the building tomorrow's enterprise, thinking about technology and how we're using that to build tomorrow's enterprise, maybe about the relationships that the technology department, the CIO, has with the business doing that. So thanks for joining me to talk about that. I'm glad you're all here. Perhaps we could just open the conversation thinking about how important the CIO and the role of the leader in the technology department is in business nowadays, that we're so dependent on technology. Can I start at this end of the table? I mean, what do you think about?
Sure.
What do you think about
Fundamentally, I think it's one of the things that allows companies to change. So it's how well that role is embedded into the real needs of the company. So it's not seen as a separate function, building things which, being honest, your board doesn't entirely understand. You're buying some servers to do what? To do something which I don't really know why you need so many. Why do you need more than one server? Why do you need 500? Those conversations need to be put in the past. I think you have to explain things in terms of the value you see in what you're doing and how that translates into the bottom line for companies. Is it revenue generating? Can you make it revenue generating? And the more you change that relationship, and the more powerful that, I guess, that opinion becomes at the board level. So you want to have those conversations there to be able to see the opportunities that gives for various people around the table trying to solve different problems.
Sure.
So.
And are you finding your role is becoming increasingly involved in business decision making and influencing the way the business is going?
So I'm relatively new to the company I'm in, less than a year, but I am, yeah. I mean, I see my strategy is very much linked to the business strategy. You know, they're fundamentally intertwined now, and if my strategy wasn't intertwined, I'd be doing it wrong, frankly. So I've got to find the right ways to see the problems that we're solving, and very much listen to what our customers are saying. So it's less about what other similar businesses are doing. It's more about what the customers want, and try and find ways to link that through the right mechanisms.
Sure. Tom, what do you think about the role of the CIO or the technology leader in an organisation, and how it's perhaps becoming more powerful or influencing business decisions? What's your take on that for the organisation you're in?
Yeah, so, coming from a retail organization, retail background as a technologist, the role of a technology leader these days is really helping map, fundamentally the business ambition, right, to a set of technology capabilities. Yeah, and the role of a technology leader these days is also about innovation, right? Not necessarily the structure of an organization, but the capabilities of an organization, right? What is best to bring forth the capabilities, right, to the betterment of the colleague, the customer, right? So if you talk about how you do that, it may take place in structure, it may take place in capability, it may take place in culture. So as a technology leader sitting sort of maybe at the ExCo or the management board, you do have that responsibility, right? But I think that kind of responsibility does permeate throughout the entire leadership of technology.
Sure.
Yeah.
And would you say in your organisation that role has become, to create, more powerful in the organisation, i.e. you're listened to more than CIOs or people in your position used to be? Is the influence greater?
I think the influence is greater because the capabilities that the business depend on now are recognized as very technological.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that recognition from the business, right, technology does have more input, more say, right, in how things are done.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. And you're involved in a lot of risk. Thinking about risk. Do you seeing any trends where the CIO and their immediate organisation are having more influence in the business because they're either contributing to or dealing with more risk? How does that play out from your point of view?
From my perspective, yes, absolutely. I mean, the business I'm in is all about identifying threats and risks for clients. And that is what we partly have to do in IT, is identify, okay, where is that next potential disruptor? Where is, partly our business perhaps going to be eroded by technology?
Yep.
And also looking across the organization and identifying where we're going to struggle to implement something like automation properly. So my role isn't just about the tech. In fact, I've moved well on from that perspective.
Okay.
It's actually more about how do we work together with the business to apply the right technology? How do we change the organizational culture to accept what we're trying to achieve here?
Okay, very good. Can we come down this end? Let's have a think about your organisation. You're dealing a lot with data and very technology-oriented organisation built on technology, right? So is it natural that your role and the role of the CIO and the immediate leadership team in IT is very powerful within your business, would you say?
It's a very interesting equation we have. We have a lot of CTOs. We have numerous chief data officers in a company like Experian. So the knowledge of technology around the board table is significant. You know, we are a tech company effectively. Data is one of our services. That being said, the role of the CIO has a very important role to play. So whilst we've got lots of innovators and product developers and data architects, actually the run and the operations and actually the customer experience and the customer journey that we're setting sits within the role of the CIO. So there's still a lot of influencing to do with the business leaders and the sales leaders to be able to set the tone and to be able to provide the capability on the outcomes that we're trying to drive.
Well, that's fascinating, isn't it? Even an organisation that's technology at its heart, and you just said you're a technology company, even then you're still having to do some leveraging with the sales and
huge
functions.
Amount of leveraging.
Really?
I don't think it goes away. Yes, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I think
fascinating.
Sales guys are sales guys. And
I thought they'd see you as God, you know, and like, all hail the technology team.
If only it was that simple.
Oh, okay. And Oliver, you must talk to loads of clients about influencing to change technology. You must work with lots of CIOs. What's your viewpoint on how important leaders within the technology function, regardless of their title, are nowadays?
Yeah, I think it's super important. I mean, my background is as a full-on techie who's then gone through sort of IT leadership, IT architecture roles, and as you say, now advise CIOs and CTOs and other chief architects. And I think the thing for me is having a leader that other technologists can look up to and sort of see where their career might go is super important on the one hand, because I think we have lots of good technologists in the industry, but not perhaps so many fantastic technical leaders of tomorrow. Clearly we have the current generation, but that's key. But also, I echo what others have said already around being that bridge, that translator between the business aspiration and technology capability. Absolutely, with an architecture, from an architecture standpoint, that's absolutely crucial. Is to get the business and technology teams thinking in a common language, which that capability concept is great for doing.